wasted. If I wanted to stop, I would've let it go. But I get it, it's alright. 'Cause I can't keep my shit together. Say fuck it, yeah, can't debate that. Don't want shit to get better, 'cause it made me forget it all and I hate that. Last summer, everything was easy. We had it all, didn't we, baby? No wonder you couldn't keep it. It got harder than you thought it would be. You stopped loving me on the dark nights. Now you won't kiss me in the sunlight. Last summer, I knew you'd leave me, 'cause loving me is the deep sea.
We have to put our hands up when the sun goes down. We have to put our hands up when the sun goes down. We have to put our hands up when the sun goes down. We have to put our hands up when the sun goes down. When the sun goes down. When the sun goes We have to put our hands up when the sun goes down. We have to put our hands up when the sun goes down. We have to put our hands up when the sun goes down. We have to put our hands up when the sun goes down. When the sun goes down. Feeling alone. When the sun goes down.
started healing. It made me find another chance. So I tried to survive all the pain inside my mind, but only God knows how to leave it all behind. We were bound at the start, now you're tearing me apart, and I'm the one to start the fight from once upon a time. Will I just keep floating away from this world? Pick me up, give me hope, let me say one more word. Heaven's so far away tonight, but where the water meets the sky, we'll be alright. The world we left behind. The world we knew just started changing. The world we had just broke apart. We were bound at the start, now you're tearing me apart, and I'm the one to start the fight from once upon a time. Will I just keep floating away from this world? Pick me up, give me hope, let me say one more word. Heaven's so far away tonight, but where the water meets the sky, we'll be alright. The world we left behind. Heaven's so far away tonight, but where the water meets the sky, we'll be alright. The world we left behind.
I was running road so many nations. Even when it's so sweet, I end up seeing red. Is it such a ghostly revelation? I may have fucked up all my chances. Yeah.
And we ain't sleeping on the floor again. We never sleeping on the floor again. For the ones who didn't make it out, for the ones that didn't see the life, for the ones that never cared, never gave a thought, found no happiness in that brand new car or the house you bought. I see you talking about the love you lost, and it was gone like way before you ever thought it was. Yeah, I took my time, no quick ones, quick run, quick guys to get back there. Hot roads, I didn't think I'd come back fierce, cause
I was running road so many nations. Even when it's so sweet, I end up seeing red. Is it such a ghostly revelation? I may have fucked up all my chances. And we are never feeling cold again. And we are never feeling cold again. But I can't act like it's easy. It's hard to preach. Cause I've been burning trees and watching fall. If we cannot breathe out, we go forward. Sure, I was searching for cure. Fishing a little wildlife. And when I'm low on fuel, I'll still be running till my back broke. Halfway, lost hope and I checked it. Hard roads, I didn't think I'd come back fast. Cause I was running roads so many nations. Even when it's so sweet, I end up seeing red. Is it such a ghostly revelation? I may have fucked up all my chances.
been around the globe, looked around at
up all my chances.
Maybe I'm colorblind. Don't know where I lost the colors. I only see black and white. Come to think of it, but it all comes back when the moon gets low, dancing in the afterglow. And when the room starts spinning and my eyes are closed, feeling like I'm not alone. 'Cause there's a ghost in the machine. I only see you when I go to sleep. I build a wall under the sheets, and when I'm dreaming that you're here with me, I close my eyes, keep us alive. Someone please turn off the lights. 'Cause there's a ghost in the machine. I only see you when I go to sleep. There's a ghost in the machine. There's a ghost in the machine.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Goose House channel, where today we are hosting the Red Bull Homeground EMEA qualifiers. I'm Cairo and I'm joined by my wonderful partner in crime is Hazza. Hazza, how's it going, mate? Are you excited to be up early this morning?
Oh, look, it's always early mornings for me last week or so. I've been building up that routine, all in preparation for Red Bull Home Ground, of course. We have 64 teams today. We've already covered 2 rounds of Swiss, I believe. We have 4 more for you to make a total of 6. Moving into the quarterfinals this evening before we have our semis and our grand finals. Best of 5 in the home ground format tomorrow. Lots of top teams, top players. I'm really looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah, lots of top teams. And speaking of 2 of those top teams, Hazard, today we are watching Big versus OV2. That's going to be a big game in this third stage of Swiss.
Yeah, Big already netting some very strong results. They're 2-0 in Swiss, so looking to continue that flawless streak. Certainly one of the eye-catching teams in the tournament as a whole that you would expect to come through here. They have pedigree in those VCT promotion tournaments towards the upper end of VRL and Tier 2 as well. So they've really, been knocking on the door of T1 for a long time, and I think progressing through and qualifying for this tournament would be a great step for them in cementing towards that level. With franchising coming in as well and them having narrowly missed out on it, you've got to be looking at the players as well, moving into these top teams potentially, but we will have to see what comes of that. OV2 on the opposite side is a bit of a mix, right? It's not necessarily backed by an org. We've got a few different players from the VRL in Turkey that have made up this roster, and they're going to be looking to try and cause an upset here, keep their hopes alive of moving through in the competition.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, in a best-of-1 format like it is for Swiss right now, I mean, it's pretty much I wouldn't say it's pretty much a coin flip, but it's near enough there where you're going into a map, both teams can use those cheesy strats, can catch each other off guard, and especially when we're heading to our first map of Ascent today.
Yeah, no surprises whatsoever that Ascent's going to be cropping up in the best of 1. It'll be interesting to see if we get any more of it later on. But in terms of maps, incredibly open, the mid area, you have the extremes of both mains as well, and like teams will always want to try and contest for it. I think the fact that it's so traditional is why teams love to play into this map. Then considering the best of 1 format as a whole, I mean, you're completely right in saying it's so easy to just pull a once over on any of these teams because of how cagey of an affair it can sometimes be. By the time you've got a read on your opponent, it's maybe too late. So controlling the pace of the game here will also be incredibly important for both of these teams.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm looking more towards Big to be the ones controlling it, if I'm being honest, Hazard. A lot, as you said, a lot of pedigree, big support from a big org. And I mean, coming into Ascent, you would expect them to have that that little bit of an advantage as well.
Yeah, definitely. This is a roster which has been around for a while as well. You think about Aslan, for example, has been here since 2020 when the roster first got picked up or first went under the organization and has kept through. There's been changes here and there. Players have come in and out. Twiston, the star duelist, definitely the biggest name that crops up on the sheet. Lucca as well. Earlier in the year, coming in from Alliance from their first split of VRL, moving into the second split. They struggled a bit because players like Lucca weren't there anymore, right?
Yeah.
But now they have that, and we should just be going straight into agent select here as well to look and see what these teams are going to put up, because there's really not too much to talk about here until we just see what both of them are going to try and go for. Already looking like we're seeing Killjoy on both sides.
Yep, exactly. I mean, with the KG coming through, we saw a lot of pick rate from, obviously, champions, etc. So, I mean, it's not too surprising, all in all. I think maybe one to talk about is the Astra versus Omen and the Fade versus Sova.
Yeah, that's definitely something to look at. I think Fade has her own advantages the same way that Sova does, right? I think the Hunter's Fury is incredibly good on this map, especially if you're playing down some of those channels, right? The way that both main areas are set up, you can pump a lot of damage in, as well as the lanes as well. Speedway, if you think about B. Utility also with the open skybox, you have a lot more range than Fade does. On the other hand, her clearing utility is better. So there are different things to think about. KO will be a staple for both of them, and I don't think that's too much of a surprise. But without a chamber, it's less of a counter pick in that regard, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's just kind of like, you could argue realistically what would be the opposite to another pick to KO, maybe your Skies or your Breaches, but can you really argue them on this map? I mean, I don't know. Obviously, Fade brings that kind of Trailblazer-esque utility, so maybe Sky's less obsolete, or more obsolete, sorry, in that sense. I don't know. It's a lot of kind of if, buts and maybes when it comes to these comps.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, something that we see here is the utility that Astra provides is just a little bit extra here on the side of Big in terms of what you have offensively. And they'll be looking to just try and set up Twiston in these offensive positions as much as is humanly possible. Starting off on the defensive side, though, Big haven't necessarily have to have their hand forced whatsoever. We're going to see a bit of proactive B main control here already, which is left largely uncontested. Twiston already probing out in that spot of the map. Turret will peek out onto their position, but yeah, nothing really going on so far. OV2 just unaware of how much map control they currently lack.
Yeah, exactly, and already we are seeing that execution-esque build up here. We are going to see the tailwind pick up, going to get straight through into this, going to find a player. That's a lovely first shot on towards Aslan, and look at this, they are already picking up the site, although this is a big luck hazard. Can they get this off? No, they can't. Lovely response from OV2, and now we're going to have the spike down.
Yeah, Musashi not able to find anything from the cheeky shorty play on the drop. Mitez takes down Twiston. And now it's a 4 versus 2. Such low HP on these players, however. You think Lucka maybe had a chance to fire bullets through multiple. Send a stake through the hearts of the OV2 players who are looking so good in these early stages. But it's all down to Obnox. They can't do it. And it will be a pistol round going the way of those attackers.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's first pistol round. It sets that little bit of pacing. You can kind of start to settle. If you're big, maybe it's just early round jitters. So all in all, I mean, there's so much that can go on here when it comes to that pistol round. But it's good enough for OV2 to kind of go forward and start to put a couple rounds together.
Yeah, you're going to be looking at picking up the anti-eco here, of course, and then it's about how much momentum they're able to generate forward from the bonus. We've seen already that a Phantom has been brought up into the hands of one of those players, so just looking to bring forward that investment as much as possible. Mitez scouting out the mid area. Twiston on a Sheriff can cause some problems here on it. We know how capable they are. However, it's just going to be about isolating a fight or two. And right now, it's the same setup from OV2. 4 players towards A, and the single lurk on the other side of things.
I mean, Hazard, you can't help but feel this is going to be incredibly easy to start to read once it comes through. A lot of utility, the Jet just getting caught out there, but Unity from main picks up Aslan, and now this site completely open. Spike being planted towards that kind of heaven drop, although it is going to be relocated towards hell. And with that being said, all 4 players, or I was about to say all 4 players of Big ready to go. It's not, it's 3 players in towards the site.
Yeah, Twiston hacking and slashing away at that door, looking to build an entry point here for which Big can make their way through, but they'll be waiting for the second initiator to join them. Finally, the shot comes in and Lausen is dropped. The Sheriff makes some work. Twiston looking to reload it, but the sound cue perhaps giving Unity enough to work with. Player advantage has been restored, but these OV2 players are locked in the site. Big right now just trying to keep them pressed back as much as possible, and they're able to find 2 kills for their luck. 2 versus 2. Lucka connects 2 shots in a row. That is ridiculous stuff on the Marshall. No time left to work with whatsoever, but that has caused a huge amount of damage here for the economy of OV2.
I know it's the most iconic Scottish phrase ever, but that was disgusting how they were able to get that, to get those shots off. Already though, we are seeing Big slowly start to get the kind of the motion starting to get worked through. Lucka with a huge 2k there at the end, and that drops everything. Although what it looks like to me, Hazard, we are going to get a bit of a force.
Yeah, I suppose you could call it a force. There's light armor for players on both sides. It's going to be whether there's a piece of util missing or not. We won't find out until the fact comes through. Lucka now towards A main, and once again we're seeing Big making sure that they've got at least some proactive control in an area of the map. OV2 going on a full push both times in the previous rounds, now finally grouping up for what looks like a bit more of a default, but eventually they do descend into this A split. However, Twiston has picked off Maiko on the lurk.
Yep, already we are seeing shot control gain. The Jet moving through, trying to see if they can find in what space they can take. Lucka's so ready for it, and all the players are starting to fall. So easy for Big at that moment in time, Hazard. They'd already read into that 4-player push, and as they tried to do an A split, it just fell apart.
Yeah, really nicely worked from them there, and it's crushed the economy of OV2 completely. Now they will just be looking at seeing what Big can build up for themselves if they have the credits as necessary to work up to an operator of sorts, already getting close to some of those ultimates. Primero has the From the Shadows, but when you're looking at strategy building here, your opportunities are few and far between. Once again, it seems as if Big are looking to take this A main control and action from it.
Oh, already over the top. Lucka getting nice reactions here. That's a huge double in towards main. Maybe even a triple hazard. There's so many players nearby. They're looking to try and drop off Aslan in support. They went in towards Wayne. Primario will pick up Lucka. That's an upgrade available. But how available is it?
It seems as if it's on the other side of that nebula for the time being, so OV2 will have to bide their time if they want to try and get this weapon, and looking at the opportunities they have to try and win this round, you would think that they'll be hanging about for just a little bit longer. Spike still in the hands of Unity, just looking to potentially re-clear towards mid here as Twiston lays in wait, Vandal in hand, holding the angle. Primero not spotting anything out with that first jump peak. Actually, Lausen has moved a little bit further astray and is seeing what's going on towards tiles. Potentially here, still chance for a late A hit, but From the Shadows still online, so rotates are a possibility.
Yeah, it looks like that is going to be the call for the time being, but Twiston holding down this mid position is going to be absolutely huge, because surely someone checks mid just to see if the space is still there. No, nice kind of, I guess, hold confidence. I don't know what you kind of moving through straight on towards B.
Yeah, it's the awareness to not challenge this mid area. The only problem is it's given Twiston a position from which they can act as a linchpin. Musashi knows all about this push, has the entirety of their Killjoy utility waiting to mow down the low HP players as they start to storm through. Unity hits the chopping block as the Vandal takes them out. Lausen finding some chip there as well. Blink and you'll miss him. Twiston's already in the back lines, and that's the last two gone. Big get their second in a row.
Yeah, but that's a huge round for Big in terms of ultimate points as well. You think Lucka now online with that null command. Twiston now has the Blade Storm as well as an op. So all in all, that loss of gun last round hasn't really affected them that much. If anything, it's actually let them upgrade. So right now, Big are looking extremely good, but it's whether OV2 can convert this.
Yeah, it counts for nothing, right? Twiston now onto an operator. This is what we were looking at them potentially getting online, and it seems that Big have gone for this as soon as it was beckoning them. Already OV2 changing up the game plan once more, this time looking to move in towards mid. No alarm bot to speak of, and Vitez collects a very nice headshot onto Aslan, now leaving Myten a completely isolated towards the backside.
Yeah, that is interesting to say the least, but this is a big position here. If the KG could have done what, but they can't, and now it's 5 versus 2 already. Alarm bot down for anybody that tries to push downstairs. They're not even going to get the opportunity to reach it. One player left, the op being bought up but it's a flawless round. What is that?
Maybe it's a bad omen, I don't know. Flawless is a huge response from OV2 in this situation. We see this opening kill from Intez is great. It puts so much pressure on Musashi, holding that tight angle, not quite able to find the jewel, and just like that, you know, you go from hero to zero, from being up to having absolutely no credits whatsoever. Twiston now forced onto the Blade Storm. Big still have credits to work with, but they're not looking anywhere near as healthy as they were in the previous.
No, and now you look at OV2 and they're looking extremely more healthy in terms of the ultimate economy, etc. Already though, this player in logs, they don't know about it. They've not even checked. This is a huge position here, although it is going to be at the detriment of other players being lost. They've still not checked it. That's a huge double kill. Using the nano swarm as well, another one to come out just to deny the space. Unity in towards the corner, but Primario at the back of sight. Unity gets that pick, and the site is completely open, or it's somewhat, or so they think. Lucka comes huge.
It's just Primario. use the ult to make it towards backside, but the only place they're going to be traveling right now is straight back to spawn. Lucka with a big double there, and it seems as if the sum of big parts are coming up big enough to win this round. That's so unfortunate. Yeah. Mitez off the back of that initial duel, low on HP, and the alarm bot causing double damage there, making things a little bit easier to win out the second engagement. Score finds itself tied up, Ascent being such an even open map. Perhaps we expected this. OV2 with a change of pace, causing Big a couple of issues, though. In the previous round, they are better to it.
Well, let's look at this. Even on the scoreline Hazard for the time being, and you kind of expect that already, though, space taken towards B main, and all realistically is this just looking for engagements, but it gives Twiston an opportunity, and that's the first pick of this round. That's going to be huge because, again, that's the kind of, I guess, the pointy bit of the spear gone. It's a little bit blunt for the time being.
Yeah, Jet versus Jet, and it's Twiston that wins this one out. Probably not the last time that we're going to be saying that in this game either. Plenty of first engagements being taken for their star player. Unity able to do a couple of their own, but not before the trades are there. Once again, Big in their numbers coming through in the kill feed. Null Command is still pulsing away, but that core needs to be stabilized, and Primeiro has to pull something out of the top drawer if they want to do it. The time will run through, and so too will their HP bar. Twiston on the scene yet again. Speedy on the flank, and Big restore their advantage.
Yeah, 4-3 now, the scoreline has it. I mean, from what we've seen so far, both of these teams look very, very capable to make this a very long best of one. I can see this going full regulation here, but with OV2 letting this go, the economy not looking great. We do obviously have Bladestorm available for Mighty, but all in all, it's going to be a rough round, and we could see Big start to put that eco cycle to good work for them.
Yeah, you also have to consider here as well that OV2 won the pistol round, so 2/3 of the rounds that they've already picked up are as a result of that initial incision made on this big roster. Then looking towards the gun rounds, and when the full display of utility is available, what these teams have in the strat book, how deep does it run? Big are just that much more well-oiled, and I think the key difference right now is in the team fights. The organization is just a little bit better. Looking into this execute, we'll have to see what's being opted for. It's a fight taken in mid, and one which Maiko cannot win.
Yeah, already down, disadvantaged here, but we are going to see this push all the way through into backside. It's going to work out, and Mighty doing work again. Although the trades somehow end up in OV2's favour. It's 2 versus 2 here, and Twiston has to come from behind, and they're already at a detriment on that health.
Yeah, but this is the thing. They have to get proactive here, OV2, and Mitzig is already doing it because they have to. With the lockdown online, you have to try and attack those parts of the map. Now 1 versus 1, Jet versus Jet, but Twiston has dropped so low. Mitzig looking to readjust into this corner. If Twiston dashes in, that will be all but their death secured in this situation. Cloudburst to cut off the angles, and, well, that's as simple as you're going to get. Gun barrel well exposed, and the capitalization is there. A thrifty response, exactly what we wanted from OV2.
Yeah, what nice space taken there from Mighty. Just being able to shut down that lockdown as well, get the smoker or the controller in towards Hell as well. Big stuff there. But the good thing for Big is they have plenty in the bank, and they also have plenty of ultimates available, Hazard.
Yeah, they do. There's now something for this big side to fall back on when you look at the previous round. It was really nice work from Mitzig, and just that read into taking some extra control as well, I think is exactly what will be demanded of teams coming up against unbeaten teams like Big at this point in time. We'll have to see once this round of Swiss concludes if there will be any left with a flawless record, but for now,
look at the
that is how things stand.
The read from Big is excellent here. Already, they've left the B site completely. They know how OV2 like to play. There's a 4-stack on A main, and already with the 3 players in shot, they're ready for this.
100%. The only issue is they have forfeited site control, so that is space which Mitzig is able to dash quite happily into. And with the spike going down, it looks like we're going to be heading straight into a 5 versus 5. Once more, the Jet player contests Heaven, but Twiston is on the scene to deal with it this time around. The lockdown still available, followed up with the Null Command is a deadly duo. Lots of utility that Big have to make their way through here, but they've got to win out the gunfights. And Primiro's already taken 2 of these lives, making it a third. That core can still be stabilized as Obnox is able to get value of their own. Now a 3 versus 1. Hunter's Fury there, but Unity must charge forward, press this advantage to keep themselves in the game. Looking to try and get this player back online. It's gonna happen. Brings it to a 2 versus 1. Player advantage restored. So many ultimates committed
Hunter's
here by
Fury.
Big. A preemptive Hunter's Fury. There's no time left. They threw the kitchen sink, but it looks like the crockery is shattering on the floor because it's gonna be around the way of OV2 for the second in a row.
That is a big, big loss, Hazza. Pun intended, by the way. Lots of rifles lost. Lucker being able to get that last rifle through. But in terms of what was put into that round and what was taken out, you're talking minimal stuff there. To say, like, oh yeah, but we got a rifle through in the next round is not good enough. Big are looking on the ropes here, and OV2 are looking to convert this next round.
Yeah, and they're in prime position to do so. Lucker has gone for the hero rifle. We see the Blade Storm coming through from Twiston as well. Both teams equally as capable of finding an eco round here if they need to, a thrifty response. Mushashi already holding up close in B main, has the turret for first contact. Twiston floating around mid and will be joined by their allies. However, it's just that same setup from OV2.
Yeah.
A big, comprehensive push. And as the turret does take contact, Big finally have an idea of where this is and rotate the entire team through.
Yeah, they've read into this. They know exactly how this works. I mean, the thing is, the OV2 have good conditioning now where they could just rotate off. And look at this, Hazza. This is brilliant. We are going to see Twiston go towards mid here, and this is going to be a big moment. Can Twiston get any picks here?
Oh, with the Blade Storm, you have that little bit extra movement, and it might be the gap that they require. However, there is no punishment. Twiston with the Cloudburst just shifts through it, and it's already looking to poke towards this backline yet again. However, they may not get on the scene in time because Aslan is already facing a couple of issues here. Does take that kill on towards Lausen, and Mushashi is also on the scene. Lucker, they brought up the rifle, and they're doing it huge here from the site. Thrifty with 4 players left standing for Big. The scoreline finds itself tied once more.
That is absolutely massive there, Hazza. Going equal on the scoreline, being able to keep up with their opponents there. Massive stuff from Big. They read it so well as well. As soon as they saw or heard any information, the fact that Twiston went straight to market just to read if there was a kind of rotate off, huge stuff. They bought up again. Let's hope they can get more value from it this time.
Yeah, it seems like currently Big are always one step ahead. You saw it with the rotate there as well, right? And in the situation, the fact that they were able to get to the site just as the OV2 players were even coming in made it so difficult. Now buying up into an op again, Twiston. We'll have to see if it can deliver the value that was promised last time around.
Oh my
Mitez
God.
on the Sheriff has already found the first kill onto Lucker, the star of the previous. And you start to worry here just a little bit whether we could be seeing the same kind of thing happen.
Yeah, these players are somewhat scared of a flank here. As Twiston is on tiles, but realistically, there's nothing going straight for them. They can't get that rifle either. The upgrade not available. And Twiston just posted up, waiting to see if anyone will try that shot, but no, it is going towards those tiles position through Spawn Hazard. And that could be a really big engagement.
Yeah, it's the operator as well, right? Nested in Link at this point in time, holding things down, all of the Killjoy utility towards A. If a player is somehow able to cross towards market, that is also under wraps with the alarm bot. This is a devastating setup from Big. OV2 completely unaware of it as things stand. Has a lockdown to try and mitigate some of those issues by an additional bit of space. But even at that point, Obnox waiting from heaven, still in position to cause problems. Aslan here as well with a gravity well will be trying to pull players through and spray them down where they stand. Ramiro good for 1, but Obnox gets a triple, 6-2. And at the very least, Big have their even scoreline on the half.
Yeah, Big had that little contingency just towards that hail drop, that heaven drop hazard, and I mean, it just started to become that situation where it was a little bit of a meat grinder, a little bit of a throwback for us too.
Yeah.
But now they look even better. I mean, OV2 really need to convert this in terms of ultimates. Cosmic Divide will be big for the retake or even just for stall. But in terms of OV2's ultimates, they have a lot online.
Yeah, they certainly do. And with it being the last round of the half, they'll want to try and invest as much as possible, or at least create tangible value from what they have available. We saw that round quite a few ago, which OV2 were able to pick up. I think it was the last one that they put on the board. And big, loads of ultimates invested, but nothing found. Mitez already sneaking in towards the site. Aslan is aware of this, though. They've killed Unity. Twiston also finding a pick elsewhere. Mitez has the spike in spawn right now with the blades and is able to put the two players to the cutting saw. 3 versus 3. And if OV2 slow down the pace here and are able to work out the space that they actually have, the A site is completely open at this point in time.
This is insane. Twisting though. Oh no, they're about to peak. They just miss out on the player. Primario gets that shot. Musashi needs to come up huge, but it's Aslan. And now we need to see a big performance from the controller. I mean, we're used to linking controllers to clutches and a 2 versus 1 with the Nebula down. Just denying. Oh, they've just missed out.
Just can't quite swat the blades.
Yeah.
Aslan, the veteran player, has been in the lineup the entire time, has the confidence to go for the jump play, but Mitez so quick on the refrag. It will be 6-6 on the half. Both of these teams level so far in this third round of Swiss.
That was a big round there. I can't believe that Aslan came so close, and I think I don't know if you just missed it there, but on that round we saw Aslan like start the Nebula, and it was a little bit. It kind of allowed that push out from Mighty, and then as the Mighty tailwind in towards site, Aslan pushed out in towards main, got the pick, but that's the kind of sad thing is it allowed the Mighty in towards spawn to get a couple of kills. Now we'll look to see what Big can do on the attack, and I think this is where the kind of team comp versus mix we'll really start to see the difference of the two teams.
Yeah, sometimes teams will have a weaker half, and we'll have to see how Big set up here as well. Something I noted when OV2 had success is when they were able to dictate the pace, right? Bring the attack towards Big. It's something you mentioned in the pregame as well. And we saw it on the previous round even. Mitez getting so aggressive and just holding W on the Bladestorm. But that's a liberty which they will not be granted from the defender's side unless we see a little bit more aggression come out. Right now, Musashi taking fights towards B main with that said player. About a minute left on the clock, and Big still just holding this default, looking for the first kill.
Yeah, and look how aggressive OV2 are being. Already out main, Musashi gets that pick on towards Mighty. Unity having to drop off. They've got the first pick. What a response on towards Twiston. A kind of gun flash fight. And already OV2 taking the advantage.
They have the player advantage here, but Big a level on numbers in this A execute. It's an effective 3 versus 3. Paranoia still available. Lausen trying to cause problems towards 3, but Luck has already made it towards the backside. Will be claiming that one at the very least. On towards Primero, but Maiko still standing firm. Good for 1. It's back and forth right now. Just Aslan left. Another 1 versus 2 for them to try and take down. Failed the previous time around. Both initiators here, perhaps waiting on utility, instead going for the 2-player face. Shock Dart comes through, unable to connect, ducking and weaving either side. Lausen from the top rope, gets strict down. 1 versus 1. Aslan creeping around the side and taking the head off. 3 from them. They're able to pick up what they couldn't do where they fell off on the previous half, and Big find the pistol.
Made up for lost work there. Has a huge round. Unity, I think, being able to take out Twiston is probably one of the biggest engagements for OV2, but the fact he couldn't convert this 2 versus 1, so harsh indeed. But Big move forward with an advantage. We'll need to see if they can, unlike OV2, actually make it and convert it further. 4 rifles?
that is absolutely audacious from Big. I'm not gonna lie, mate. I've not actually seen that before. I am surprised to say the least. I don't know where the money's coming from. I mean, perhaps what they... It's going to sound a bit toxic. Perhaps what they saved from not getting into franchising has been invested here. But it is the Spectre instead of Aslan that will find a quick double. Eventually, the rifles get some work. And the big infinite money glitch seems to be working out for them.
Yeah, now it just seems to be... they've made the rifles work, Kaza. We're already down to one person. It is laws, and I don't know how much work they can get done. I mean, maybe a success story for this round for them would be to get a rifle and can get it into the next round, but... I mean, yeah. I don't know. It seems as if they're all going to go towards A site anyway, so Laws is going to get an engagement.
Yeah, I think it's because we've already seen 2 players queued up here in main. The spike will make its way over. Twiston also holding down mid. Incredibly well drilled here, Big. And not overzealous either. Being meticulous about the approach. Just a frenzy in the hands of Lausen. And as the door gets closed, they have a chance for an engagement. Lucka gets caught out. Enough time for the spike to be planted, of course. I don't think there would be any chance for this round to be won on that kind of a condition. Twiston cleans things up. And I'm pretty sure we'll see an upgrade here as well. So all 4 of those rifles, most importantly, shall be kept.
Yeah, already, I mean, Aslan, huge there on main, kind of opens up that opportunity. But it was just a lot of big waiting for OV2 to overstep, and they did. I mean, realistically, on an eco, you kind of have to try and gain something back. But all in all, it was pretty much a kind of wait and take what's given to you situation for Big.
I think so. I think more than anything, they were flexing those IGL muscles towards the end. It doesn't really count for anything. It's a 1-for-1 trade, I suppose. Being incredibly cautious, not getting caught out. Now into the gun round. The stakes are that bit higher. If Big are able to pick this one up, OV2 are going to be looking in dire straits. Double digits potentially on the cards from the back of it. But those are just if, buts, and maybes at this point in time. Prowler clearing out lots of market. Lausen maybe potentially thinking of for a pop flash. It does come through into an opposite smoke, not actually having any value, but the kill is found regardless. Obnox getting caught out in towards the fragment, eventually cleaned up by the Phantom. 5 versus 2, Big being squashed.
Yeah, already we are seeing these, well, I mean, these big players are just being completely wiped out. Lawson just narrowly avoiding the gravity well and the nano storms. So much utility being thrown at this one pick. Oh, Aslan! No way! Gets 3! This is already looking like a decent round for a bonus, Hazza. And there's only 2 players left. Spike in Haslan's hands.
I mean, bonus if you can call it that. They've somehow managed to bring 4 rifles through. But looking at it here, Aslan once again in the clutch. Another 1 versus 2. This time, things feel a bit different. The timing is there.
No way.
Primero has dropped. It's a 1 versus 1. Spike in their hands to be planted. It would be an ace clutch from them if they can pull it off. Maiko shifting round the side. Will have to try and spot them out. Already has the information. The players drop side, but they can't claim the kill. The Phantom firing that little bit swifter, and with 150 points of health, it was David versus Goliath. Aslan unable to do it this time around, but the damage that they have felt here will not go unnoticed.
No, 100%. I mean, Big moving in towards this next round. I mean, this is, as you said, technically their bonus, even though they had 4 rifles. So a lot of this next round will be rifles for Big. OV2, on the other hand, this was their rifle round. Losing 4 of those rifles will put them in a bit of a setback. And I mean, it doesn't actually look that bad when you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, not really. The defender's able to buy up here as well. They won, so you know, not the worst of things. And the loss bonus as well, not quite coming through for Big yet either. Lots of players getting spotted as this fast hit looks to come through. A crossfire has been established. Twiston sits himself in the middle and is still good for 1. Kills being found, and a flank from Aslan also takes down the null command of Lausen. They'll look to just hold this player, stop that core from being stabilized and coming back online. Although they do get caught out and the trades come through. Barely any time left for Maiko to try and sit this one out. They can't do it. Obnox on the scene, 9-7.
And I think this is where maybe this time Hazard, the economy will be broken. I mean, I tried to call it last time, but unfortunately I can't do quick maths. This time though, I think it will be the case after that force. I mean, it was a great effort from OV2, but all in all, the investment wasn't warranted. Even in all command, just so harsh to lose out on that. And you look towards it, looks like a Nightfall for Obnox, which will be great for an execute-focused ultimate.
Yeah, we also have that lockdown waiting in the wings as well. Only one ultimate orb away, and for that reason, we're seeing presence taken in A main early doors. The Killjoy player, not anywhere so to speak of. Musashi elsewhere, so won't be able to pick this one up. Perhaps that isn't the game plan. Nightfall primed, as you mentioned as well. It's just that change of pace on the previous round that we saw from Big, now going straight back into a slow default, which makes it so difficult for OV2 to try and read their offensive game plan. Ultimate's committed on the previous, but still not quite finding that value. Needs to come up big with a Thrifty here. The setup is there. There's 3 players on A to take this push when it comes through, but with a minute left on the clock, you start to wonder if it's going to happen, if at all.
Yeah, exactly. These 3 players outside of main, they're just doing their due diligence, I think, Kaz. I think that's the best way of putting this. Musashi, though, moving through mid with a comrade, and Millie so close, watching this move on towards shot. No one's checking his position, and that's the Blade Storm available for Mighty if they want to use it. I doubt they're going to invest it this round, but here we go. Nightfall now invested, Lawson taken out, players in towards site, and there's all the frags coming in favour of Twisting, just going in towards their pockets. Sees in towards heaven to deny the space, but look at this, the spike will be planted.
Some good kills on the Sheriff coming through in this game as well. Mirtez now has the Blade Storm as a result of their previous good work. Twistin perhaps looking to get flashed up in towards heaven, but Looker now has another player on the hands that they have to try and deal with. Unity making their way in through short. Twistin here already on a triple. Another multi-frag for him, trying to make it a quad. The peak comes through from Unity. They've lined up 2, and they've caught the coattails of the 3rd. Lucker just playing from back gen. The shock dart will squeeze them out. That HP bar being slipped so low. The force peaked out eventually. Is there time? Just about. Unity's clutched it with a quad.
Oh, Hazard. 0.6. 0.6 for Unity. That is so close. That double kill and towards moving shot, and in the final one at back gen, a 4K all in all for Unity. That's huge stuff there. And I mean, being able to get that spike defuse somewhat rescues OV2's match, because I mean, I worry what would have happened on that next round if Big had won it, moving on towards double digits.
I mean, really, it feels like at times both of these teams have been hanging on by an absolute thread, but are still able to keep themselves in this game. Big having won out on both pistol rounds, but still only ahead in this game by a fine margin, showing the difference between these 2 teams in many ways. Going back into the default, most of those knives have already been unshathed here from Twistin, but not finding any value back off of it. Primero dropped about half HP, but Twistin even lower. Ultimates to be used on both sides here. We see lockdowns just waiting. I think a late B take here might be the call from Big.
Yeah, but do you invest ultimates here? I mean, do you go for it considering there is players on Sheriffs, yeah?
I think so. We've seen a mixed investment here from them. Twistin has a stinger to use as well. There are rifles here too. Null command towards A to maybe try and bring a rotate over, but it's not going to happen. That is the one ultimate that they've thrown down here, and that is all that they've got to speak of. But there are players to cut down the push. And it is just the fake elsewhere that is left to come scrambling to pick up the pieces. Lucker in through mid, still has some HP to work with, but there's a trade there. KO on KO, the mirror pick gets shattered, and now it's just Obnox. We've seen clutches come close before, but this is few and far between. Unity takes them out, and the scoreline finds itself level. Big with a mixed investment. Not good for anything this time around.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. Has a 9-9 the scoreline now, and already we are starting to see the sweats form on the brows of both teams, and it is going to be big moving towards an eco cycle, which is going to be tough for them. All in all, has a 5 sheriffs kind of allowing OV2 to be the first team to get towards double digits. That's now 3 rounds in a row. But again, I'm talking in hypothetics. I'm talking in situations where we're expecting to see players get cut down, and that seems to be the case so far.
Yeah, with Mitez on fire so far in this game, turning up in the best of one. It depends how far they can get into this competition, whether we see them go the distance in these series. Lausen also taking another isolated duel, Big falling apart at the seams, but with the investment that they put forward, you've got to take these isolated fights, right? You want to try and win your ones on the Sheriff. It's just not happening for them. Looking to be flawless here, and footsteps already given away from Twiston, and a Nano Swarm activated means that they currently sit in the belly of the beast. Trying to find out Primero, the shot not quite following up, eventually able to sink it, but Unity is quick for a trade. 10-9, OV2 get their double digits.
Yeah, OV2 we are going to look towards that next round. I mean, Big were afforded a lot of 1v1 fights, as you said, Hazard, but it's that conversion, it's that win your one scenario. And I mean, there was only one player to do it, it was Twiston, and it was at the back end, it was an exit. And I think this is the first round that we've seen in a while where both teams have nearly full heavy shields, which is crazy to see.
Yeah, I think both of them just love a thrifty win that much, right? Swinging the balance constantly, and it's meant that neither have been able to put up a sizable economy. On the defense, however, the ball has finally started to get rolling here for OV2, and a victory in this round would set them up so nicely to dash Big's hopes of finishing Swiss flawless and leave a tarnished mark on their record. Already control being taken towards short, but it's at the expense of tiles. Mitez already pushing up and taking that away from them. Big's hand perhaps feeling somewhat forced at this point in time, knowing that control has been swept from beneath them.
Yeah. I mean, control swept from beneath them, but if they read this right, they could move in towards A, although KG Utility does await them if that is the case. Although Twiston taking big space, Lausen going to be such a massive player here. Sees that tailwind and already will be alerting players that, oh, I mean, I think there's a player close. They might also think a player might have pushed in towards CT, although that's so unfortunate. Mighty can't get that pick. Takes out the alarm bot, and now we see them move on site. Nice paranoia. Maiko at the back of site needs to come up huge. Doesn't. And now the site opens up. Aslan again. What a performance from them so far. Hunter's Fury invested, but absolutely no return.
Yeah, now this is a site which has been encapsulated by big players. Twiston still just waiting for a timing, and we know how good they are. Nearly had it, nearly found Unity, and that could have given OV2 a way back into this one. Both initiators still up. Lockdown from main could eventually be used. It's the Cosmic Divide which will grow their woes ever so more though, and Aslan still alive and kicking. Causing problems leaves just Lausen to tuck their tail in and save here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of players chasing. They want to do as much damage to this economy as possible. I mean, but at what detriment to their own here? We'll see if they can pick this up on. Now they've just seen the shoulder. What? Nice double kill from Lausen. And again, it's that situation. At what detriment to their own economy? And now, I mean, realistically, when we look towards last round and we were looking at that graphic, has a OV2 had enough to invest into this next round? Big? I don't know so much.
We will have to see. The spike plant will certainly help them out. And yeah, there's the confirmation. The coffer's not dried up for the German outfit just yet. I like the mid-round adaptation that we saw in the previous from Big. OV2, it's a double-edged sword when they contest tiles, because you think somewhat they've overcooked it because it gives away information that they were crunching it, gives the green light to Big to then push in through short. We'll try it again here, but the timing has to be perfect if you want to try and take a player from this position. Operator brought up and already looking to work. Maybe just holding onto the sightline this time around as once more those big players descend in towards mid. and we'll just sit, wait for an overextension. This time the control is towards B main. No alarm bot to speak of in A lobby this time around.
Look at the ultimates for retake for OV2 this round, Hazza. We have a null command and a lockdown, which will be massive once we get to the situation of an execute. One to maybe be watching for later on, taking out that turret from OV2 will just give away a little bit of information, or false information. We are going to get that ultimate invested from the attacker's side of Big. Lockdown not going to get much here, but maybe just give that a false indication that mid's taken away.
Yeah. It's like sticking a jackhammer in the middle of a concrete slab, right? You've just pushed the distance of things further apart on both sides of the map. The defense has to sit back even further from heaven. The lockdown does get taken out, but Twiston's position is all too acutely aware of by these OV2 players. They've bolstered this site defense. Musashi able to slip through for the time being. Recon pulsing away. Eventually the null command does come through, but not before Obnox takes Lausen out. It's an effective 2 versus 2 with them sat so far in the open. The question is, are Big aware of this main flank? This could be the difference maker. The win condition in the round, buying so much time here with the fake res. All on Obnox from Gen, and they peek out just round the opposite side of the scope. Unity dropping through, claims the kill, draws first blood, and makes it advantage OV2.
Yeah, and then again has a. I mean, I hate to see it, but Big are going to be relegated towards an equal. Look at the money in the pockets. Fair enough, you have the Bladestorm, but at what cost? I mean, did they really need to get that lockdown? Was it really a necessity to waste a life?
I think it was a good ultimate, right? It meant that OV2 didn't have control of market, didn't have control of short, just pushed the Gauze that bit further back. The only issue is Big were very split in the execute. Twiston struggling to break that lockdown up in heaven while players are coming in through short. Yeah, when push comes to shove, it didn't work out. I suppose you can critique it from that sense, but now it's more just of a case of whether they can find anything here and deny OV2 from bringing us to, at the very least in overtime, a match point on the cards.
I mean, we have 2 hero rifles being bought up by Big. And I mean, when we look towards this hazard, what heroes can we have? We have a massive one. Oh, Musashi, you had the opportunity and it's just slipped through the fingers.
They did the hard work as well, right? The only player that was facing getting taken out. And Mitez lives to survive another day. And maybe they might just rue this one big. Maiko with a shot out of the top drawer. And now all their efforts do find themselves funneled into the crosshairs of this operator. Still kicking from stairs and kicking them to the dirt. Lucka gets dropped. Lausen also alive here. Twiston far away from things. Running in to try and claim any kind of last-ditch effort. The flash drive will only make this even more difficult of a task as more time is eaten away at. Mitez posted up with the operator, and there it is, a triple from them, and the mistakes of past come back to haunt Big as OV2 collect map point.
They collect map point, Hazard. And that, going into the first match of the day, we've been absolutely treated so far between these 2 teams. And I mean, this could be the first arguable upset of the day. Many more to come. This is what best of ones does to you. 4 light shields and 2 big ultimates for Big, and a last stand attempt to keep themselves in it.
Yeah, OV2, I believe, are also currently unbeaten at this point in time. So, you know, this is a battle at the top draw of these teams. However, looking at Big, you did expect perhaps them to come out on top. But it's not always, it's the illusion of the org, I suppose, in many ways, as Mitez has found the first kill, but Musashi does trade things back. It's a 4 versus 4, but Primero still causing problems. Unity has managed to run all the way back, but Musashi will hunt them down, takes that kill, gives an advantage back to Big, but it's one which will be fickle as that timer has ran out. Lucka has eventually dropped, and we're into a post-plant.
Oh no, Musashi doesn't, well, seems to know that there's two players coming from behind. The alarm bot triggers, and Michael going to be taking first contact. Lovely flash drive, use of utility, absolutely perfect. Turret now goes offline, and three players looking to circle the site. Hazard.
That double push from main is huge as well because it's levied all control that Big had externally. Now it's two players forced towards backside. What can they do? Aslan's come up big as they have done many times in this game, but it may not be enough. Oblok's left isolated. Primero able to find it, but the time, I don't think it's there. Big, they've managed to win it out with 2 seconds left to spare. Primero drops, and it is a clutch to keep things going in this game.
Yeah, everything being dropped here, but has a look at the buy for Big. It's pots and pans. What I mean, what are they going to think moving in towards this? It'll be, what, 3 rifles with lights in terms of utility? You're pretty much going to be, well, scratching and trying to pull everything together. At least there's a blade storm for twisting.
Yeah.
But all in all, this is not looking good.
I think the main advantage that Big have coming into this round is momentum. They were able to shut down OV2 on the previous by absolute skin of their teeth, and now they lead the way in terms of ultimate economy. Like you said, Bladestorm already in the hands of Twist and a lockdown and Cosmic Divide to work with in Execute. Considering they have 2, you may even opt one as an investment for a fake. Aslan can do that from anywhere on the map, however, they still remain staunch in their position in A main. Eventually, Big make their way over towards B, and it will just be Mites holding it from the corner here. They've come huge so many times so far in this best of 1, but they'd have to have the complete shutout of this side, or at least big value if they want to see it through, and it's not going to happen.
It's certainly not. A lovely use of the Prowler has we are going to get a gun for Twisting. A lovely lockdown invested, but when do they pull the trigger? When do they wait for this? The Cosmic Divide also invested, and these players have just evacuated site. They don't want to risk it. The Haunt went through in towards the market position, but no one's close, no one nearby. The only player close is that player in CT, and the post plant begins.
I think OV2 are aware that Twisted may be pushed up close here. They swap the Vandal out with their teammate for a Judge. Works well with the playstyle of Jet, and of course still has the Bladestorm to try and work with. That's a very cheeky fragment grenade into the corner, keeping Twistin on their toes and eventually taking them out. Aslan finally playing this flank through, which means that OV2 are fighting a battle on 2 fronts. They've got to surge in towards the site, and finally we start to see it happen. Obnox is the first line of defense, and they'll just clean them off their feet. Big find, all of the kills necessary, and just like that we go to overtime.
We certainly do, Hazza. We are going all the way to overtime, and now it's a 2-round shootout continuously between these two teams to find out exactly who should stay undefeated. And I mean, realistically, Hazza, you could argue for either of the two teams at this moment in time.
Yeah, I think these teams are both currently firing at the upper echelons of play here in the EMEA qualifier for home ground. The Turkish qualifier having already concluded, Footballist, the first name on the docker in terms of who we have here in the main event. The invited teams as well will soon follow suit, 6 of them, of course, but we're looking here towards EMEA. Big and OV2 both making a serious case for themselves. A much slower round here from OV2, but much similar to the defaults we see from them before. Mako taking a helping of damage through the wall. A fantastic Prowler. Lucka will convert. And Big just fall back with the advantage in pocket.
But it's also the combination of the C's to actually get Lucker back in without any contention. Huge stuff and lovely utility work. A little jump spot in towards mid to see if anyone's watching it. No one is. And remember, Twisting is on this glass cannon, and Unity maybe looking to peek.
We've seen Twist on this up a couple of times, maybe not finding as much value as you would hope. And the shot just doesn't leave the chamber in that instance. Right, we're seeing right now OV2 just second guessing their approach. Confidence not sitting with this team as they've lost the last couple of rounds. Eventually their call does come through. It's going to be a late B hit with only 40 seconds left on the clock. And at a player disadvantage, they'll have to win out their duels in sight and, you know, find something for themselves here.
Yeah, we'll need to find something. find a big incision. Locker just looking in that, and that Nebula gets the shot on towards Mighty. You can't help that this is in vain
Yeah.
here, as only one player left. It's all up to Lawson. And they're not going to get much a flawless round moving in towards overtime. And what a way to answer your critics in this match. Specifically has a big coming up huge.
Yeah, Big doing very well on their defensive side too. One which I think it's fair to say they looked to struggle on in patches in the previous half. So rectifying some of those problems, fantastic utility combo to get things kicked off between Obnox and Lucka. Taking out Maiko also strips away the control which OV2 have to work with on their attack, because you no longer have a turret, no longer have an alarm bot, and their options were so limited. No absolute chance to try and reclear main or anything of the sort. Mitez looking to get aggressive from mid, has already procced the tailwind. Big once more trying to aggress short.
Twisting again went for that glass cannon, by the way, just as a heads up. Obnox talking about heads up gunfights. Mighty will go down. So will Twisting. There goes the op. This is a one-way, but Locker, huge stuff, takes out the opposite number. We continue with the man advantage, and that old drone didn't catch Musashi. Oh no, it's falling apart for OV2.
Yeah, kill underneath the one-way, the draft excluder, and it seems as if that cold feeling may be sinking in for OV2 here, as Musashi is also able to find one. 4 versus 2, they cycle in on the Premio, who is the premier level of defense. The first one here to try and sort any issues which OV2 still have left. Will get caught by the Prowler. 1 versus 3 effective if they look to take the fight, but may just wait for their teammate. The only issue is with them being the anchor on B. Big are aware of this. They've already taken space towards heaven. And it's going to be a retake coming in through short instead. This proactive control from the attackers may make it nigh impossible to get that spike diffused.
They have so much information. They actually have so much utility. But
Happiness needs pain, like the ground needs rain, and fire breathes flame, like I need you. Victory needs a fight, like the dark bleeds light, and wrong craves right, like I need you. I know how to push your buttons now, so I can get my way. Yeah. And I know which words will cut the most, and how to turn and make you stay. And in one split second, you can barely catch your breath, and you know that will never be perfect. It's easy to forget. Happiness needs pain, like the ground needs rain, and fire breathes flame, like I need you. Victory needs a fight, like the dark bleeds light, and wrong craves right, like I need you. So wrap your arms around me now, with all your hopes and all your doubts, like you need me. And tell me now that it's all worth it. I don't care if we're not perfect, I wouldn't change a thing. If it was all or nothing, then I would want it all. Happiness needs pain, like the ground needs rain, and fire breathes flame, like I need you. Victory needs a fight, like the dark bleeds light, and wrong craves right, like I need you. Like I need you. Like I need you. Like I need you.
I need another story, something to get off my chest. My life gets kinda boring, need something that I can confess. Till all my sleeves are stained red from all the truth that I said. Come by it honestly, I swear. Thought you saw me wink, no, I've been on a brink. So tell me what you want to hear, something that'll light those ears. Sick of all the insincere, I'm gonna give all my secrets away. It's time, don't need another driving shiny big black cars. And every day I see the news, all the problems that we could solve. And when a situation rises, just write it into an album, send it straight to gold. I don't really like my flow, no, so tell me what you want to hear. Something that'll light those ears. Sick of all the insincere. I'm gonna give all my secrets away. This time, don't need another perfect life. Don't care if critics ever jump the line. I'm gonna give all my secrets away. I'm gonna give all my secrets away. Got no reason, got no shame, got no family I can't blame. Just don't let me disappear. I'ma tell you everything.
I'm alone here on my island, floating in the sky. I'm high above the world I used to know. And I'm far from any danger, safe from any failure. Guarded, I found shelter in the storm. I'm hiding in the blue, safe between the clouds. In the blue, where I can't be found. Was a soldier in the legions, fought against the demons, fought against the monsters made of gold. But they stormed across Arcadia, following their nature, washed away the place I once called home. I'm hiding in the blue, safe between the clouds. In the blue, where I can't be found. I'm hiding in the blue. I'm hiding in the blue. As time goes racing by, I'm wishing I could be fine, but I'm still so stuck on what used to be. Made a prison out of my mind, watch life as it goes by. Battle scarred my own worst enemy. I'm hiding in the blue, safe between the clouds. In the blue, where I can't be found. I'm hiding in the blue. I'm hiding in the blue. Hiding in the blue. The world's passing by and I lost sense of time. I've gone numb, I miss the days when we were making legends. The days come and go. I'll wait through sun and snow for you to come and take me from this place and bring me home. In the blue, safe between the clouds. In the blue, where I can't be found. I'm hiding in the blue. Hiding in the blue. In the blue. through the blood and pain, game of survival. Anytime or place, watch 'em run away. I got none. I'll be standing on my own, never gonna take my throne. I got no rival. Watch 'em run away. I got no, I got no rival. Tell me now, what you gonna do? We can do this face to face. The reckoning is coming real soon. Doesn't matter what you say. Try to tell you this is not a moment. Can't take mine 'cause I own it. Don't you know that I locked and unloaded? You're out of focus. Get ready for the fallout. Can't stop me now. I got no rival. I'll find my way through the blood and pain, game of survival. Anytime or place, watch 'em run away. I got none. I'll be standing on my own, never gonna take my phone. I got no rival. Watch 'em run away. I got no, I got no rival. No rival. I got no
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Goose House channel, where we are hosting the Red Bull Homegrounds EMA qualifier. I'm Cairo, joined by the wonderful Hazza. How's it going, mate? Are you ready for this next game?
Yeah, I'm more than ready for this next game. We've got two teams that I'm well aware of as well coming into this one, 10-Star and CGN Esports. So this should be a pretty exciting game. If the first one wasn't enough for you already, we've had overtimes coming into the second best of one here on Bind. Plenty of promise.
Yeah, exactly. Plenty of promise. CGN starting on defense on Bind against 10-Star. I mean, you were kind of talking to me about these two rosters. You have a lot of kind of history. You've had experience with them. So tell me, with 10-Star here, what are you expecting on Bind?
So 10-Star are a very good bind team, which is why I'm not necessarily surprised with the veto here, because it's a map that CGN also feel comfortable with. But bind for 10-Star has always been a safe spot. They were able to take it off of Vitality in VRL finals before then losing out narrowly 13-11 in that rematch, which, you know, is notoriously difficult for many teams, I suppose. Players like Caspian, U-Break, incredibly strong on here as well. It's a fully Polish team, and, you know, I've got lots of Polish friends which will sing their praises constantly. In terms of CGN, it's a new roster. They're currently boot camping in Cologne, so they've got that buff to help them out as well. We've seen Onibi come into the lineup as well, who is the brother of Soon, who was already playing for them. Azuri's come in, another young player, only 18 years old, a German prospect. So they're like a mixture of German and French players, which means that they're able to kind of like play tournaments for both VRLs, which helps them out. It means that they've got a lot of practice now as a team as well. They're just looking to build through the gears. I spoke to their coach Sebi in an interview. I also spoke to him earlier as well. He said that they started off a bit slow today, but they're feeling the pace start to come up now, and they're feeling better coming into this one. Of course, you said too that they lost the first of their games in the Swiss, but have now won the previous next two. So it's just about building that momentum, right? Feeling confident in yourself, and going up against 10 Star is always going to be a difficult game. So it's good that they're feeling that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it is one of those situations, but realistically, has a CGN coming into this one might feel like they've got 10 Star at a good time, with 10 Star just recently losing to Zero Tenacity. So they might not have a lot of momentum, or maybe it becomes a different beast. 10 Star find that next gear and go, well, if we've lost our first game, let's win the second one by a massive margin.
Yeah, it's so funny that 10 Star's last game that they played in the Swiss Series against Zero Tenacity, because they also played them in Valorant East United, a tournament a couple of months ago in Poland. So, I mean, I guess there are parallels there as well. But CGN, completely different opponent coming in here on Bind. We'll just have to see what happens. 10 Star, they like to play that double initiator with a single controller setup here. And on the opposite side, CGN loving to play the double controller, and actually Benny moving on to the Phoenix, which is something a bit different to what we've usually seen them play. I would expect the Rays, but it's not going to be happening.
I mean, it's an interesting one that you would pick a Phoenix over the Rays in terms of flashes. I can understand it, but surely you would switch off maybe the Fade for that Sky, like, or even a Breach, something like that we're seeing 10 Star do. So the fact that they're willing to forgive or forgo that utility that Rays brings, like the paint shells, with the boom bot, etc., that space taking ability as well, it does bring up a massive question mark.
I think the question mark is somewhat answered though, because you look at the setup here with double controller, it means that there's a lot much more space that you're able to hold on to.
True.
Ray's a very good space maker with the utility for clearing, most specifically. Phoenix, with his flashes now being that little bit quicker, has added value. The Sky changes maybe not sitting so well with CGN. It's interesting now. We have a clash of styles between these two teams, or at least the agents that they are bringing forward. We'll just have to see what that implementation is like and what they actually do to try and mitigate some of the issues that you potentially raised.
Well, I mean, looking at this, do you think 10 Star starting on the attack have the advantage here with them going with that double initiator? Do you think it's a matter of these are the two teams on their best sides and this is what they can do most with, if you know what I mean?
I think there's certainly an argument to be had there, but Phoenix as a duelist is a lot more aggressive than Raze is, so you have to be willing to take those fights a little bit more than you would on the Raze, for example. I mean, sure, you have the showstopper, you can do stuff like that, but Phoenix, you're looking at the run it back, the flashes, you can sit behind the mollies, and I know we've seen a couple combination plays between Benny and Azuri to make that damage felt. I believe it was a game that they had in the DAC region recently that was a highlight put up on Pearl where they were able to just completely shut down the choke. But yeah, questions that will have to be answered. I suppose the comps do still have a lot of similarities. I want to be looking at that duel between Soon and Caspi on the chamber. And of course, Fade, it will be a staple for both as well, just because of how important she is in a lot of comps at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at this moment in time, a little bit of a default towards A. The A split, a lot of space taken already for 10 Star in towards those showers, and it seems as if Catch P will be feeling a little bit to drop off. There's so many kills going left, right and centre. Starsky getting in already, getting a double, and a spike down has her.
I was going to say, those Polish names are not doing you any favours whatsoever. No. And perhaps the Sky Smoke wasn't there for a moment, only be getting spotted on the opposite side. The Chamber Duel comes through, and it's Soon that can win it out, but only for a limited amount of time. The Hot Hands keeping Sticks on their toes. So much to stop them from re-clearing this. Caught in the seas, a singular point of health, and only be the new kid on the block, the brother at arms, able to take them out. CGN win the pistol.
It's not. I've just realised it's not only the Polish names, but there's also a couple of like German names in there as well. I'm just like,
Yeah.
like they're just not helping me. Starchy,
Starchki, I think.
Starchki, right? Okay. Like,
I'm not sure, bro.
These-
You just go with Star if you want. It's really
yeah,
up to
I'll
you.
just go with Star. I'm not going to let that happen. But anyway, point is, first round towards CGN, they do a great first round retake with the pistol hazard, so
Yeah.
now they've got some upgrades.
Yeah, TenStar throwing a lot of utility at that take as well to try and prioritize Lamp's control, but with the plant, I mean, there was not too much action off it, still lurking towards showers. In terms of extremes on this round, CGN have already cleared out all of that position, only be putting the Prowler through towards spawn, and that can afford a rotate to be coming through here as well already.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but Maniac had actually bought up a Bulldog and a Heavy Shield, which is a big investment for an anti-eco round. Not something that we're used to seeing. Benny, though, oh no, you break. Do you know where the players are? I think they are just going to drop off. The call's been made. Maniac getting in towards Star is absolutely huge. Benny holding this down, gets billed, and this is coming up huge. What a triple round, or a triple from them. The last remaining player on site will be collected, and a little bit of style points for Benny Boy.
It certainly does. A huge 4K from him. I mean, yeah, the Spectre has more bullets than you can really count here. Able to get away with it. The curveball back in, jumping through. Incredibly nice stuff. You thought, I mean, these are anti-eco frags, right? So you can't hype it up too much, but when Maniac pulls out the Bulldog there and is able to get the first kill, like the warning lights start to appear, but Benny is on the scene. They're able to calm things down. CGN will get their reward and come into the bonus looking fairly good.
You say it's only eco frags, but when three players run at you at the exact same time, you're expected to lose at least one of those fights. Such a great performance there. It seems as if the space towards, or it seems as if there's a little bit of a fake towards B here, and it's already been read into by CGN, which is maybe a massive misstep already.
They have got three players there. We do see the rotate come back through from Starshki. Not looking to overcook this one a little bit too much. It's more of a default from TenStar though. There's no real actual fake coming through. Maniac takes the head of Onibi. It's traded out, but we do have the regrowth available here, and it seems as if TenStar will just be regrouping and going for this hit towards short. Starchki only has a ghost to try and work with up against 5 of their Polish comrades. Just trying to slow things down as well. We're seeing the fact of the matter as to why you bring in 2 controllers soon, maybe getting caught out, and they do soon enough. Caspi finds it, and that gives the green light for this execute to come through.
It does. The ultimate run it back being used here. Players getting taken out. Somehow this skirmish going in favour of CGN for the time being. This is huge. Benny coming up once again. It's down to a 1 versus 1. Surely not. Surely they can't clutch this out despite being initiated. It's a Ghost versus a Vandal. And it's the Ghost to win out. Starchki coming up once again. Huge. And that is the ultimate online and the bonus converted for CGN.
That's such a nice shot from Starchki to clutch out the round. The bonus converted from CGN. Run it back, popped from backside by Benny. Lures in TenStar to go for an aggressive peek. Their support in towards that area. They're able to trade it out. The kills come through from the Phoenix on the Bulldog. That's fantastic work from him yet again. The Brimstone also chiming in. Starchki having the orbital strike online. TenStar reduced to an incredibly low buy, and soon, now with the credits available to move through onto an operator.
Yeah, that operator's going to be huge for locking down these long angles. I say long angles, I mean there's not many of them on bind, and it seems as if those angles are being made even shorter by TenStar's quick push in towards Hooker. They're not going to get much space. The hot hand's just denying that, and Soon's already seen the shoulder of Catchby.
Yeah. Catch me if you can, I suppose. I'm pretty sure that's not how you say it, but you know,
Yeah,
you see if you can catch him. Who knows? We'll have to see. Right now, 10 Star will just be looking for a snapshot, soon trying to find one of their own, but that rendezvous sets him up incredibly nicely to get away from this one scot-free. Blinding Light does come through, and it means that they will have to move away from things. Lots of space, comfortable for CGN to give this one away to 10 Star, I think, and let them get the spike down, because it's all going to be about the retake and providing that gap in utility and weaponry here, which they have going for them at this point in time. Even then, the Snakebite has delayed, and all of these players have rotated too, and even found that first kill before it gets planted.
Yeah, and the fact that those smokes only last for about 20 seconds as well, and means that 10 Star are maybe feeling a little bit vulnerable. They'll have to make these crossfires work. Oh no, Bald somehow manages to get Benny, but here we go. All of CGN comes online. It's a 2 versus 1 and only one player remains. Sticks on the Stinger, will swing out, see soon. But they'll completely slap back. 4 rounds in a row. I mean, it's good damage, but there's so much in the bank, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was nicely played from CGN as well. They were able to close down a lot of those sightlines. In the retake, we see it here. The orbital strike comes through, which completely isolates any players towards short. Sashki actually able to take out Caspi before that ultimate drops on top of their head. So it just meant that CGN made the fights a little bit easier. Benny, the first line of attack. They do get taken out in that situation, but that's what you've got to do as the Phoenix. Create the space for your team to thrive, and we see CGN come through with the round. It was close in the end, but they're still the winners, and now we have to be looking at this 10-star pause and what they're able to subsequently find here from their buy round.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, 10 Star obviously maybe coming up. I wouldn't maybe say a set play, but they're certainly trying to come up with something, see what's going wrong. And I don't think there's been a whole lot going wrong. I feel as if CGN have just had these little things up their sleeve, like for instance, isolating a player in short with the orbital strike, etc. Maybe the use of smokes and just the kind of outright denial and somewhat kind of stopping power of CGN right now is what's delaying 10 Star. Because I mean, for instance, if they get that spike down, they can buy a few extra key seconds with the sky smokes that are already down, but they dissipate, and it allows CGN to start their retake. So that snakebite is bigger than what people actually maybe think.
Yeah. I think that right now 10 Star have a great opportunity at finding a round. It's going to be about shutting down this early aggression which CGN are able to convert, and there comes Benny off the back of a flash, takes down Maniac, and just like that 10 Star find themselves a player short in the opening stages with no opportunity to find a response.
Yeah, well, that is going to be the Seekers invested. And the player's going to be found outside of showers. Kashpi picking up Azuri, and it seems if 10 Star are going to find these picks and open up the A site. They haven't got lamps control, and that is a key linchpin. Soon though, coming from behind, feels the pressure, that op might drop, and they will find the player. It's 3 versus 2 on site hazard, and Kashpi has found the lamps control.
Yeah, it's a player which they are aware of, though, CGN, and Starkey is able to win out that fight. 2 versus 2 now. Things not looking great here for CGN. However, we've already seen that Starkey is quick on that rotate towards A. This is effectively a 1 versus 1. The rotate taking so long to come here from U-Break, I think. Bull does go for the plant, and I'm not sure whether CGN are perhaps inclined to just walk out here or play those player advantages. It's Sticks, actually, that has now joined the fray. They have the Nightfall and will probably just be waiting for a tap in this situation.
Yeah, no curveballs either. Benny, oh, they don't know. The angle's so tight. They are going to swing out. Fine Sticks, that's huge. That opens things up. Going to use that wall here, firewall, just to deny Benny, or to deny any angles on towards Benny. They have to spam through. They've got pings, but they're letting it go. Hazard have let it go completely. That's 5-0 for CGN. And the balls to actually just hold that, hold 4 and defuse it completely.
Yeah, I mean, look, Benny is having a fantastic game so far. Soon we see here on the replay, just caught in a difficult situation. And from then onwards, TenStar were just able to collapse things down, completely crush what CGN had to work with. Caspi gets caught out in a difficult situation in Lamps, potentially not needing to peek out towards site in that spot. Buy as much time as possible for that plant to go down on B, but doesn't work out for them, and TenStar find themselves on the back end of 5 successive rounds here from CGN, the majority of which have been successful retakes.
Yeah, exactly. Soon, obviously, losing it will just opt for a tour de force, and it's outside of showers where a player's about to peak. It's going to be that sky guiding light goes through, but soon can just hold the angle still. All it takes is to look away. And it's you realistically, you don't realise it's the op. All you know is there is a person there. So it's pretty much not false information, but it's not as impactful as what you would have on other pieces of util.
Yeah, and we see the chokehold that CGN have here with that Viper utility towards short. The Snakebite not invested, but the Poison Cloud causes problems all the same. Only being Starkey here up towards long. The Tour de Force waits in the wings and claims the first life. Caspi doubles up and finds both. That lends an advantage to TenStar, and now they seem to be away. Flying through will be Maniac, who's actually spotted Benny. I thought they had for a second, but Benny is just not aware of it. Lets them fly through, and before you know it, twice as many players for TenStar here going into their post plant. This is a retake which CGN may not be favoured on this time around.
Yeah, but just don't count them out just yet. A nice double stack here will take out the Viper. One player left, and it's soon. They won't get anything. Only one pick on that round for CGN Hazard, and a lovely answer back from TenStar on their lesser. Oh, I see lesser buy. There's plenty of rifles there actually.
Yeah, it was that mixed investment though, right? You
Yeah.
see the Tour de Force, like, they don't exactly have all of the playing chips that they would want at this point in time, being down 5 rounds, but with the loss bonus finally hitting the heights of what it has done, the credits will be there for them, and they can start to build something up in this game. Not so bad for Soon, as they were also on a chamber ult. This time, we see the operator get bought up. And CGN have to try and find a response. Don't want to let things slip from their grasp at this point in time from the good work that they've been doing in the early stages. Soon able to find that first kill once again.
Yeah, and it's only a default from TenStar. That's all they're doing, just trying to put on pressure. If you look towards the map and the control, which is being kind of bought out from TenStar, losing that player on short will be massive, because like that's the Nightfall gone as well. So all in all, TenStar's default not really working out here.
Yeah, and CGN as well have the orbital strike and run it back in the hands of both B players. So if it comes down to an A retake, they have that available to them. Prowler through the TP has cleared out towards Sand. TenStar are starting to see the problems raised here. They need to get aggressive and make some space towards A, because they lack so much map control at this point in time. Orbital strike will slow things down just a little bit to give more control back to these players in Lamps. Azuri holding on to things with Oni-B. Maniac is on the scene and able to get one, but Oni-B trades back in double their weight. 4 versus 2 this time for the defenders.
Massive.
And it is CGN that swing back. Only U-Break with the spike planted. 1 versus 4. Lots to be done.
So much to be done. At this point, Hazard, you can't even start to get excited. The player does tap. Although the molly there, Benny, we know how good they can be. A lovely first shot. That's a great denial. 2 players left. Orbital strike online. They're going to just use it and get popped straight away. And these 2 players are feeling the pressure. Nice swing from Oni-B. Do they have the time?
Yeah.
They do. It's been half. Well played from CGN, even though they hemorrhaged so much there.
Yeah, with time to spare, CGN are able to find it, but I mean, you have to give credit where it is due in that situation. On the side of U-Break, and what he's able to find, that flick, a readjustment onto Soon, the Incendiary able to do enough, but Benny sticking it out half. And in the end, it's nothing more than some abilities and potentially an ultimate wasted, I suppose, not getting that value. However, CGN, it somewhat broke the bank. There's a dent in the depository for them now. And things start to get that little bit more important With 6 rounds already secured, however, you are looking at them now just finding an advantage and running away with it from this first half.
No. Nobody just gonna make that mistake of peeking out once again. There is pings over to where those kind of shots came from, but only be. I mean, we've seen this player pop up before. They've heard the ultimate orb go through. The seized will not hit, but the seekers will, and they are going to try and find out exactly where players are. A great denial, and the Nightfall invested. The players on short will find players, but it's the players actually on site that find the gunfights, and it's all going in CGN's favour. Somehow this is just all falling apart. Hazza soon with the op just firing off warning shots towards sticks, and they know exactly where this player is. All players now from CGN converging, and they're just looking to collect a huge round.
Yeah, it really nicely played from CGN there, just squashing the choke entirely. 10-star not doing anything to mitigate the amount of utility which the defending team have available to them. As a double controller composition, you have to be trying to bait something out on different areas of the map so you're not going up against the full hand of it, the full bulk of it when you go in towards the site, or you're just going to get backhanded like that. And CGN currently doing fantastic job at just closing down 10-star.
Yeah, and they've closed them down again. First pick again going towards CGN. Benny might feel the pressure here. Curveball goes out. They flash themselves. Maniac, no, peaks at the right time. Perfect for them as the curveball gets, well, brought up, initiated, started, whatever you want to call it. They will lose their life. A nice peek from the players of 10-star to realise, and we go back to a 4 versus 4 with a rifle finally in 10-star's hands.
Yeah, the spike hasn't been committed anywhere yet. No player advantage to speak of. Azuri holding deep here on A trademark for showers. As soon as Soon takes contact here, I think CGN will be looking for that rotate as quickly as possible. Trailblazer coming through, and well, that's almost given up the game before it's even started, I suppose. Soon gets a huge stun on towards them though. That dog able to find value, creeping and hiding in and amongst things. U-Break finds themselves a double. 10-star just about able, they squeeze their way through with brute force, and now CGN have to retake. Guns sitting around the site for the time being. That molly should take down Maniac. It does. It's a 2 versus 2.
Yeah, but look how awkward this fight can be. Oh my god. Hazza, what is that?
Only B does it every single time. So fantastic from them so far. I mean, yeah, they came into the roster as Soon's brother, right? You know, sometimes you see this happen in different teams. That is a fantastic shot from Soon as well. Like, you know, you've got Scream and Nivera are probably one of the good examples of it, but there's plenty of times when it goes wrong. But Onibi, coming into this team, has delivered nothing but results so far, looking absolutely fantastic on the fade. This map, I think more than anything, it's the impact kills that we're seeing from them here.
Oh mate, there's so much happening. CGN just dominating. And I mean, I guess that shows you the power of double controller. This is a lovely, lovely Viper's pit, but the players are pushing up close. Azuri will get Maniac. And now, with that being said, the players are going to start to retreat. The tail between their legs and looking towards the B site. Although the call was almost made for Benny to rotate, there is a lot of presence from CGN on the A site.
Yeah, I think something else here as well between the two teams is 10-star, how they set up in the post plant. And the amount of rounds that CGN have been able to win on a retake, you know, you have to be... That has to be something that 10-star are looking at, right? They have to change the way that the setup is because it's just not been working for them. We saw one timeout come through, but that's been about all so far. Benny has to run it back, but we'll just flash straight into this. Ultimate not required. Takes down 2. Soon quick on the cards to find a 3rd. And that's the round over. That is 10-star's buy round, completely null and void.
Hazza, it was the flash, technically a body flash, because Soon was so quick to follow up the engagement. The last remaining player is in towards A and is in showers, and I think this might be a save for the next round. 10 Star moving on towards the next one, right? Realistically, looking at this, are going on towards an equal. And me, as casters, we tend to try and build a storyline up of as soon as a team gets to 10, you can't help but feel it is pretty much over. It's all but an uphill battle from there. And 10 Star have are pretty much on point, telling us to be 11-1.
Yeah, it's certainly looking that way at this point in time. I think 10 Star, of course, they're back on the max loss bonus again. They're looking at, realistically, at least conceding 10 here, but with CGN's form, like you mentioned, perhaps an 11-1 half. And more than anything, it's the fact that they're chasing the game at this point in time.
Yeah.
CGN in firm control, looking incredibly good, playing off of one another. I mean, I was speaking to Sebe before about this boot camp that they'll be doing in Cologne, that they had scrimmed a couple of teams in Tier 2 and a couple of these new franchisee teams as well, and they were feeling confident about their performance, but I mean, the proof is in the pudding, and we've seen it here. CGN, once again, as Starkey finds the opening kill, looking that much better against a well-established unit in the form of 10 Star.
Look at the response already. We're seeing the snakebite being readied for a potential swing out, and I mean, why use it when you can just take out U-break? Every single moment. We're seeing CGN find incisions, find picks. The players starting to collect for 10 Star on towards shot. The spike to follow. Only be with that Prowler will alert soon to peek out. Azuri here holding this long angle. There we go. Free as you can like. One player left. It will be build. And well, a flawless round. Haza once again. CGN put 10 Star to the sword and find it 10-1.
Yeah, CGN at this point in time, yes, it's a best of one, but this is one of the maps which 10 Star are most comfortable on, and they're looking second string at this point in time. It's hard not to say exactly how it is, because that is what we're seeing. There's been a real lack of cohesive game plan from them. Investing the first timeout, I understand that, but there's got to be a point where you maybe look at even bringing in your second as well. There's time on the half to mull things over. This one's so far adrift from them already. Both teams 2-1 at this point in time. 10 Star perhaps going level, and CGN breaking away with that uppercut of teams in the tournament.
Right, well, there is a little bit of information from the Fade to point out exactly where players are. We are going to see the Trailblazer follow up. They've found the op, they've found Soon, and they are going to get ready to drop off here. The players moving to B.
Look at this though. Soon has taken 3 peaks and not even rendezvoused yet. Like, he's feeling himself right now so much that even the guiding light isn't enough to dissuade the angle. 10 Star now moving on towards B, but CGN are in place. There's utility to speak of. 3 players already in position. The orbital strike not catching anything. Nightfall comes through, but Starkey does drop. Caspi able to get it. However, Azuri has given a foothold here. Nobody in hookah whatsoever. All TP. 4 go through the TP. Rendezvous should be online. Soon is here once again to cause more problems. The flash goes past. He's on the angle and taking out Caspi with 20 seconds left. CGN have their advantage.
10 Star are fighting for a lifeline, a chance in this next half. Can they do it? Well, it seems like they're going to get it to 2 versus 2. Azuri, though, with a lovely spray, denies it. And all it takes is one pistol round for CGN and an anti-eco, and they win this whole match 13-1.
Not only that, Cairo, look at this as well. I mean, there's not too much we can really comment on. CGN right now putting 10 Star to the sword. Even if they don't find success on the pistol round, they're on the attacker's side. A spike plant for them here allows a possibility at a force. If they want to keep the pressure, keep the momentum on 10 Star, the ball is in their court. It's up to them. You said we might see 11-1. I thought, well, maybe it's a little far adrift. I still back 10 Star to find something here. It's not been the case. 5 rounds both ways, sandwiched either side of it, with a 6th just to add even more woes to the Polish outfit. CGN starting things off slow here on their attack side.
Yeah, big time. They've already picked up Oni B, and it's a nice crunch in. Showers has the player Starkey in towards the corner, will get taken out by U-Break. And their last remaining players out towards B. They're going to get taken out. It's only Sticks to hold it down. The Trailblazer comes through, but Azuri's also there. And this is going to be a long rotate, which might allow this spike to get planted.
It certainly could. We're seeing here player advantage for 10-star, most importantly, as it goes down.
Oh.
What is that? Azuri takes both. CGN given a moment to breathe off the back of that and adjust accordingly. 2 players now in towards elbow. Caspi has no idea. Will at least get this stuck towards half. You've got to be kidding me. Looks as if he might go for the whole thing. Not enough time to do it, though. Azuri with another multi-kill. This one even better than the previous on the half. 12-1. Match point CGN. 10-star. They've got everything to do at this point in time. And then some, Cairo.
I mean, Hazza, you're on your defensive side. So already when you look towards potential forces, you don't have that extra bonus of, oh, we've got the spike down, which the attackers have. So they've got extra in their pocket. They're buying up so much here, and if you're CGN, realistically, you could throw everything at this. You could even have potentially 5 rifles going into this if they really wanted to. Oh, a nice shot from Catch, but we will take out soon. But all in all, I mean, there wasn't much lost there because they hadn't bought up.
Yeah, it's just a case of what we have here still to work with. 10-star trying to stay alive. You could maybe look at the good side of things, take previous results. We know that 10-star have been in some close matches before with comebacks, but the one that springs to mind is when Vitality won 13-12. In that game even, the advantage that 10-star had was from their attacker's side. Now on the defenders, it's a bit more difficult of a task, but Caspi does find yet another kill on the Headhunter to make things a little bit better for them. Pushed up towards Fountain, incredibly aggressive. Azuri does find that one onto Buld though. Caspi was snuck behind. Benny is just going to go straight for it. No time wasted whatsoever. 10-star trying to respond by going through the TP, but it could be in vain. There is a trade. Only B gets another. 1 versus 2 with a Bulldog in hand. If Caspi drops here, there is a chance, but it is a 4K from that man. And 12-2 will be the score. CGN not able to seal it just yet.
Well, that is a rifle in towards the pockets of 10-star. Maybe allow that eco to build up a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to start saying that 10-star could... this is the 10-star comeback starting, but it certainly is a good start. They've done something well here. It's CGN's bonus round, so they're going to be on pistols waiting for the rifle round. So they're letting 10-star actually build up a little bit of an economy here. It's depending on how 10-star win this round. Yeah.
The case right now just has to be full damage mode for CGN, and 10-star, realistically, you're looking at damage limitation, concede as few rounds as possible. Benny, sorry, already sporting out Maniac. That's a completely different player. But yeah, in that situation, not able to do too much. Caspi still dragging this 10-star team, kicking and screaming through the mud to bring them back to a point of safety, perhaps. Maniac also doing as much work as they can, but this is a player who I think it's fair to say has been fairly quiet so far in the best of one.
Yeah. I mean, there's
no
a
question
lot
marks whatsoever towards that Phoenix pick anymore then, Cairo.
No, there's absolutely none here. And 10-star are starting to do well here. They're kind of just punishing peaks one by one. Only B will be the next one. There we are. 1 player left. Paint Shells come back online, and Azuri has been found out. They all know where the player is. They're just going to swing. What a shot that is. Second one not available. But realistically, again, it's that whole thing of 10-star's bank gets bigger, but CGN have 9 rounds to attempt a match win.
Yeah, and you're looking about half of those 9 rounds in which CGN will have a relatively decent chance to do so.
Yeah.
There are obviously eco rounds like that, but if you play them in a similar sense, then 10 Star will just take you apart. This is still a very strong side. However, CGN are playing at a different level at this point in time. Soon, now able to get that Fabled Operator in their hands, 10 Star perhaps adjusting the strategy here for the buy round, taking some aggressive space towards A short, but the space that they've taken here outside of B has gone punished. Bald completely isolated, giving away that first blood. And well, Caspi here could also be in for a similar situation. However, this is the exception to the rule, and they've done a fantastic job on Chamber this defensive half.
Yeah, already. One apiece traded. That is the Viper for the Fade, and I mean, say what you want, say what you think is more impactful. We'll certainly find out once this round is over. The players are starting to move in towards site, but it's the players of 10 Star that have found the first incision. Only B, though, comes up huge. Sticks getting the return, and we're in towards a 2 versus 3. Soon holding that long angle. We are seeing one player move in deep, and it was Starkey. Soon now has to hold out in a 2 versus 1.
I think more than anything, it's going to be moving this operator away from the site. The spike is stuck right in the heart of it, ablaze with 10 Star players. Nearly connects the wallbang onto Sticks. Could be looking for a double face-off of the contact here. Maniac is able to win it out by themselves. That will be an operator that the defense are now able to use into the hands of Caspi, most likely. And they're able to steady the ship once more. And we go back to another CGN Eco round.
So, 8 rounds left. 4 of which will be rifle rounds. Maybe even you could argue there will be 5 depending on how the loss bonus goes. But for CGN, they are going to be continuously moving forward. Maybe they're waiting to build up these ultimates, and that's maybe their win condition has a. That's maybe what they're thinking here. But in terms of 10 Star, they also will have those ultimates start to come online.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that you mentioned that, because amongst all of these rounds which 10 Star are able to win out, they're not investing next to any ultimates really, so it does give them an extra buffer to use when things get a bit more contentious between them and CGN. We do see the Viper's Pit and Nightfall have now come online, and Benny has punished Bald, who yet again has gone wandering towards that sand position and lost their life as a result.
I like
it's also brought up the run it back online as well, and this can let CGN hit the site in a 5 versus 2.
I was going to say, I do like the idea of a crunch, but sometimes you are going to reach and meet a stopping force. That stopping force being soon the run it back coming online. They're trying to get aggressive. The op close by, but the op wins out. Starkey elsewhere doing work, but it's 10 Star. We're down to a 2 versus 2 in the post plan. Azuri rescues the rifle of the Phantom. We are going to see players get aggressive here, but can we see players get the kill? It'll be Benny to win it out. Oh no, we have to see Sticks clutch it now to win out the round, to keep themselves alive. How can they do this right now when there's 2 players holding across? Benny elsewhere peaks. Only 1 player left. It's all up to Jury. They win it out. CGN, after attempting 3 times, win it on a thrifty. And Hazza, that was an excellent post plan.
Yeah, that is what we have seen happening here in all of the post plants that we have gone to. It has been 10 Star which are really struggle in those situations, and CGN on the opposite hand have had so much success on their attacker side. They were able to win that one out eventually in the end. On the defenders, it was in the retake that they found most of their success, being so well drilled in those team environments when you need that cohesion, playing off of one another. That is where they're able to find the success. 10 Star just falling short. Bald again getting caught out with an unnecessary push. When you're down so many rounds, sometimes it brings out that like hungry dog nature that you need to go for something risky. But CGN, with how controlled they are in their efforts, the merits of the boot camp being well seen in that instance, they're able to see it out in the end.
I mean, I genuinely started to think they're like 10 Star are going to start to really make this work, especially when moving into that post plant. We saw how many small kind of mistakes were being made on the side of CGN. I guess it is what it is. Sometimes though, mistakes get punished, and I mean the 10 Star will be feeling we'll be feeling that loss big time.
I think the thing with 10 Star is on their bind, they're usually stronger on one half than another. This time around, it looked like the defense was their way of clawing back into the game, but it wasn't enough. At the end of the day, the main thing was that CGN are looking like a real team at this point in time. They have that cohesion, the new pickups coming through in the form of Onibi and Azuri, doing big work for them on a lot of those rounds as well, right? The amount of times they were able to pick up multi-kills was ridiculous, but that is the way that it ends. CGN now 3-1 out of Swiss round 4, and 10 Star 2-2, looking to keep moving forward and make their way into the knockout stages.
Yeah, we are going to be restarting the stream just for the viewers at home. We won't be back until about 4 p.m, I believe it is, or 3 p.m. I don't know when 4 p.m. with the next bracket has it, because this was such a quick because this was such a quick win. We do have to wait a little bit longer for other matches to be finished. So we will see you guys soon. It will be a very extended break, but do make sure to come.
At 4 p.m. CEST. To confirm, CEST.
CEST, right, okay, so 3 p.m. BST if you are from Britain. Right, just be back then. We'll see you guys soon. And we'll be taking an extended break. So see you then.
Texted, I wanted to stop, I would've let it go, but I get it, it's alright, 'cause I can't keep my shit together, safe, you can't debate that, don't want shit to get better, 'cause it make me forget it all and I hate that.